Greenergy has been an AMCS customer for around 10 years. 6 years ago, in 2016, it was decided to go to the next step and implement the planning optimization solution for downstream fuel distribution, also referred to as AMCS Fuel Planner. So, James, Rachel, tell me about the challenges Greenergy faced before AMCS Fuel Planner was implemented.
I think the main challenge for us as a business was the solution that we were using prior to Fleet Planner was we had to have two instances of it. So we couldn't actually schedule our whole customer base and our whole driver base and our whole fleet within one system. We had two very independent standalone versions of the same system. So there was multiple inefficiencies across that from a personnel and cost efficiency piece. With our business growing, there was also limitations with how much further that product can grow, and the real likelihood is that we may have to add a third instance of that same application, which would then further exacerbate all the problems that we were experiencing prior to working with AMCS. So I guess for us, the high level of it was to support our 5-year business plan. Scalability was key to allow us to product that actually grows for us. Also to look towards automating. I think we were realistic in the fact that we were saying we wanted to semi-automate our scheduling and optimization based on distance, price, handle our two fleets in one application, so irrespective of the different part of the business, and then get some more benefits for our business. So estimated time of arrival notifications for our business, and also around the telemetry element of the solutions as well.
So in short, the inefficiencies you mentioned, James, could you elaborate a little further on the negative consequences of not having this solution in place?
Shall I take that?
Yeah, go for it.
So with having two separate systems, we had very huge difficulty in optimizing the vehicle and fleet use. If one vehicle was being managed in one system, we couldn't pass that over to be managed, so it was underutilized here. We got more orders being used in the other systems, and that applied to drivers and supply as well. So dividing everything we had across two systems was hugely inefficient. And the knowledge that was within the teams that use those systems were specialist, which meant that the staff using the systems were not interchangeable as much. So just having one system was fantastic in solving many of those issues. They went away really quite quickly. What also we were looking for was that smooth start to end process that took us through the execution of shifts, not just the planning of shifts, which the fuel planner system provides. We had a separate bespoke system that was on the end of the process, was efficient in managing the stream of data, but because everything is now in one place, that runs through so much smoother and has given us huge benefits in that accuracy to customers and speed at which we invoice our customers.
So in terms of the benefits you mentioned here, Rachel, the top 3 positive business outcomes, what would they be?
Our key ones were optimizing our supply position, not just our deliveries. Yeah, so the fact that we have constraints and pricing considerations from where we lift product from, making sure that that optimized plan was as automated as possible, ideally 80% and upwards. Improving the end-to-end through the the execution phase and that ready to invoice point, but also the payload we wanted to improve, and the number of hours that a driver is working. So getting more work out of a driver were our key measurables, if you will, and all of which we've seen improve.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So tell me about your experiences during the implementation project and after the solution went live.
Okay. During the implementation, big change for the business, big change for all the integrated services that feed into Fuel Planner, whether that's customers' orders or drivers' shifts, all feeding from separate systems. So they were a challenge. The different approach for the business and the business change was big. Yeah, I can't understate that at the moment, because we got those two different skill sets and having to combine and show new ways of working. It was a big change for the teams, which was quite a challenge. Yeah.
So as I understand it, this is not only about implementing a new system, it's also managing a change process. Is that correctly understood?
It is. And for anybody that is in the logistics world at all, having planners and schedulers trust a system is a huge step. And we are still on that journey. So the system
It's a
is
never-ending story. Yeah.
And working with AMCS to answer questions about how things can be done differently, better, is really beneficial to aid that trust that the schedulers need to have to let it do what it's good at, which is planning your deliveries, the efficient planning of your deliveries.
So if you were to give your recommendations and advice to other companies who might be in the same situation as you were before the solution was implemented, what would they be?
I would spend a significant amount of time on the gap analysis between your as is before you start and the to be, and don't focus entirely on the technical elements that have to change. Yes, absolutely, you need to identify those, but the business change is critical, or you will never use the system to its full potential. And make sure that your training is robust and stage the implementation wherever possible. You're going to have interfaces into the system. Wherever you can stage those and put live different parts of it, do that.
Thanks. That's certainly very good advice, things we can pass on to other companies in the same situation. So James, Rachel, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate your input, your answers to these questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.